guys, now it's time to officially open our Q&A. So bring up here, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Judges of the Championships 2022. Once again, big up Australia! Countries are joining together here at the spectacular fields of WFDF to showcase junior yacht ultimate at its best. And we are very happy event, so we want to graciously thank the city of Wrocław and our hosts WFDF for their partnership and for opening the doors to the ultimate. This 3 days facility with respect and show the city of Wrocław how amazing and fun ultimate. Because this is one of the most beautiful game in the world. Are you agree? Are you agree? Perfect, perfect. And a huge thanks to you and to the staff and volunteers who have donated money to make this possible. So big applause to the volunteers right now. We recognize and appreciate the short money we will bring in some long stressful rewarding days, but we have all managed so well to do it on this year. So thank you once again. We are also thankful for the work of the parents and coaches both here and back home who have prepared these young players for the week ahead. So thank you to the team, because we are all one big team of ultimates. Thank you. Returning to play after a winning break of the pandemic, this season will be the first major tournament for the juniors here, and we are super excited that TF and WFDF are coming together to embark on a journey this week to World Championships in 6 junior divisions for 2 years. The European Yacht Ultimate Championships and the World Junior Ultimate Championships. We are sure you will have a great time both and off the fields, and will make friendships that last. So now, one of the tournament directors and head of the local organizing committee, Dariusz Urbani, to say a few words during the opening. Big applause to Dariusz.
Hello, dzień dobry. It's a great honor to host you in a beautiful city of Wrocław. Wrocław is a city of meetings, and I'm happy to meet all of you here. I would like to thank you, players, coaches, and parents for your trust and came to Junior Ultimate Championship in these difficult times in our part of the world. It's a great feeling. It's great to feel your positive vibration. I wish you to have a wonderful time, keep the good vibe, and enjoy every single minute of the tournament. See you at the field. Thank you.
Thank you, Dariusz. And now, I call Mark Campbell, the yacht representatives from the European Ultimate Federation, to say a few words on behalf of the EUC Under 17 tournaments. Hello, Mark. Hello.
After 2 years of ultimate cancellations, it is so nice to be back on the field. I think we all agree with that. And it is very nice to be in Wrocław, Poland. Thank you for hosting. Thank you very much. Thanks also goes to the tournament organizing team that has put this tournament on. It's huge privilege to be here with so many young players. I would like to greet all the players and staff on behalf of the Ultimate European Ultimate Federation, and we're glad to be here. A special greeting goes to the under 17 players. It is probably your very first European Championship as a player, and I hope that you enjoy it. In addition, a very special thanks goes to the people that have managed to get those teams here, those under 17 players here for the first time from such a long break. Thank you to you coaches, you trainers, you parents for supporting them, and thank you for being here for the European Youth Ultimate Championship 2022. And without further ado, I will hand over to Cy Hill to open the games. Keep the spirit and like it!
Thanks, Mark. Now I call the tournament technical director from the WFDF World Junior Ultimate Championships. Cy Hill, give it over to Sebastian.
Hello there, hi. How cool is this? Dzień dobry. Everyone has said this already, but it is so fantastic to be back out playing Ultimate. So look, I won't talk very long. On behalf of the World Flying Disc Federation, we would like to welcome all of you to the tournament. And I'd like to say a few thank yous, of course. In particular to the city of Wrocław and our hosts here at WFDF. Thank you very much for welcoming us to your home. Yeah, thanks very much. Big round of applause for our hosts. Thank you. So, to our fantastic tournament directors, Dulu and Darius and their team, thank you very much, guys. Huge shout out for the volunteers, as you already said. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank Mark, our partners from European Ultimate Federation. Of course, it's really cool to be running both events alongside each other. It's a while since we've done that. Very happy that we're doing it again. That's really great. We would also like to thank our sponsors, BC, Greatest Bag, Discraft and Friction Gloves. Thanks to those guys. To look out for them this week. As the other guys have said also, thank you so much to all our coaches, managers, parents, volunteers, staff, medical team, for bringing everyone here and making all this possible. Thank you very much. A big shout out for the coaches. But most of all, you know what? Thank you very much to all of you, the players who have come. Some of you have come an enormously long way. It's a long way, it's a big journey. Thank you very much. These events are very special. I've been lucky enough to be at a few of them. For those of you at your first one, have a fantastic time. Play hard, make some new friends from around the world. And look, I'd like to declare these championships open. Have fun, good luck. Enjoy.
Speakers, and right now we're just a few minutes away from opening the game, and now I will introduce you the two teams who are about to play the women's on Are you ready? That's great, because we're teams over the last now, so we'll start, of course, from the next team from Great Britain. Let's go! Robertson. Number 13, Bernard Ellis. Captain of the team, number 50, Sean Cheeks. Number 57, Bell Holmes. Number 58, Tyler Robinson. Number 64, Rose Hardy. Number 76, Georgina Jones. Number 86, Molly Roster. Number 96, Sarah Torto. And number 99, Louisa Leland. And the coach of Great Britain, Ben Steve Richards. Welcome, Great Britain, team. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the whole team from Poland. Number 2, Izabela Jasia. Number 4, Zuzanna Malek. Number 7, Veronika Grochowska. Number 4, Maja Lipska. Number 11, Marika Łupicka. Number 13, Aleksandra Kubicka. Number 14, Maria Jawońska. Number 16, Zuzanna Szymanowska. Number 21, Dobrosława Margus. Number 22, Weronika Wójcik. Number 26, Amelia Janczak. Number 30, Amelia Grochowska. Number 32, Katarzyna Plichasz. Number 33, Karolina Weber. Number 36, the Spirit Captain of the team, Andrzej Jasiewicz. Number 43, Katarzyna Olbratowska. Number 66, Natalia Krause. Number 82, Anna Paterska. And coach of the team, Poland, Michał Tull. Welcome, Poland! Now, ladies and gentlemen, please wait a few seconds and in a minute we will start the official anthems of our team, so you can stand up right now. Please stand up, everybody. I ask all the spectators to stand up for the national anthem of our guest team from Great Britain. Ladies and gentlemen, panie i panowie, proszę o powstanie do Narodowego Hymnu Polski. Please stand up to the national anthem of Team Poland. Some young girls, sound bags. Please stand up, to support our team during the opening match. It's going to be an amazing event. Thank you for being here. Enjoy your time in Wrocław.
Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Wrocław. It is OLTTV's pleasure to be here in Poland, bringing you coverage of the Joint Juniors Ultimate Championships. It is a scorching day here in Central Europe. The sun is shining, the stands are packed, and we have got a festival of ultimate for you this week. One event, two tournaments, the World Junior Ultimate Championships and the European Youth Ultimate Championships being held at the same time, and we are going to be here streaming all week. I am Benjamin Rees, and I am delighted to be joined today and throughout the week by Rachel Toshnerova.
Hey Benji, so exciting to be back. If you thought that International Ultimate was over when WCC happened, you were wrong. Because if you thought you were witnessing history at that tournament, you can just stay tuned this week and witness the future.
Right, I know, we're a little bit of a generation shift. Not the first time we've been in Wrocław this year either. It was also the venue for the European Masters Ultimate Club Championships. So a much younger feel on the fields throughout this week. As we mentioned, the Joint Juniors Ultimate Championships, two tournaments taking place at the same time. There is the World Junior Ultimate Championships, which is the under 20 age bracket, and then we also have the European Youth Ultimate Championships, which is under 17, and our first game of the weekend is under 20s. It is from the World Junior Ultimate Championships, and we are in the under 20 women's division with Great Britain taking on Poland in what should be a real spectacle for our showcase game.
As always, the exhibition featuring the home country, meaning Polish ladies, Polish girls, Polish women from the U20s, and taking on what should be a close opponent, but we're yet to see that, from GB.
Yeah, it's always interesting going into the first game of the tournament because you're never quite sure how it's going to play. We don't necessarily have a huge amount of footage on the players available because for a lot of them, you know, it might be the first time they're representing their country on the international stage, and as well as that, the last time we had a big youth event was 3 years ago. The European Youth Ultimate Championships at that point had both under 20s and under 17s, and that was also here in Wrocław. So it'd be interesting to see where each country's at.
Well, one thing is for sure, basically anyone who was in the U20 category 3 years ago cannot be competing at this event. So all of these players, if you have seen them before at some of the junior tournaments, they are coming to you for the first time on screen from the U17 category.
It's going to be interesting to see how the teams and the players adapt to the pressure, not only of being at a world event, but there is something else, I think, a little bit of added pressure that comes with, you know, being on the live stream. And hello to everyone watching on the World Flying Disc Federation YouTube channel. And of course, you're in the opening game here. There's a huge crowd that's come over from the opening ceremony. All the teams are here to watch. We've seen lots of parents and fans on the sidelines as well. So there is certainly probably maybe a little bit of added intensity to it.
But there is 100% no pressure for everyone watching from home. Feel free to engage with us in the YouTube chat. Please keep it respectful. This is a junior tournament, and we want to encourage these wonderful young people to keep playing our sport and actually enjoy their time online, because they will go back, look at these stream games, read through the comments. So make sure you encourage them, give them lots of support, and just enjoy the ride. So please do make sure to hit the subscribe button so that you're allowed to participate in the comments, and do let us know who you're cheering for, where you're watching from, and all kinds of other stuff actually. Whatever you decide, we can use on the stream.
So Great Britain in the red jerseys and blue shorts, pulling to Poland in the white and red. And the Joint Juniors Ultimate Championships is underway. Poland starting on offense. They'll be going left to right with the wind in this to start the game, but an early turnover. You can see there already what an effect the wind is having. The flags in the background blowing left to right. So GB trying to get a break against the wind here. On the far sideline, finding a little bit of space to float it out in front. Just going to have to come and reset her feet on the end zone line. Hicks wants to find an option at the back of the end zone, and Great Britain can't make it stick. I thought it was good, but it just wouldn't stay in the grasp.
Bardus to pick up for Poland for a second chance in this first point. She walks it to the front of the end zone.
Yeah, having said that the wind was going left to right, the flag seemed to have changed direction, so Celia a little bit swirly in this stadium setting.
Jaszak now in the center of the field. GB forcing the slightly more difficult throw in these conditions, which would be forehand. Now they work it up the line. Bardus centers back to the middle. Now they seem to be gaining some nice yards. Here's a big gainer right in front of the end zone is Jaszak. Jaszak looking for options. Team stacking up in the middle of the end zone. She's now looking for the dump, doesn't take it. Oh, and a last pass, I think it was defense, couldn't quite see if GB got a hand on that.
I think Kiva Morel got that just with the fingertips to prevent the first goal of this championships, and you see it again on the replay. Does just enough to deviate the flight of the disc. But I'll tell you what, you can hear this home crowd behind Poland, can't you? Every time they make a big gaining pass, the crowd are right up with them.
So we have, it seems like both countries fanning their teams in the chat. Great to see the engagement. First point still underway. GB back on O.
Just taking a little reset there. Disc was low to the ground, but scooped. Players really watching the disc into their hands. They know in these windy conditions, there's no such thing as a surefire catch. It's a nice gainer down the far sideline to Morel. Morel wants to wind up the arm, finds a target as well. That's Barker. Down the sideline, and Barker finds the target for the goal. GB score the first point of this championships, and they take a 1-0 lead with a break on the game's first point.
Very nice defensive effort from GB, and then eventually a score. Well deserved, working with the wind. I think they were actually going upwind. It's not, yeah. Like we said, the wind keeps swirling, and that is a common occurrence here in Wrocław.
Yeah, something that you have to be aware of as well. And playing on the artificial turf as well, again, another adjustment. And that time, rather than wait for it, just comes back towards the disc. And it looks to me like that's Chambers making the catch for the first goal of this championships. So a little bit of early adversity for the hosts here, getting broken on that first point. Do you try and put that out of your mind and go again? And if you were a coach at this moment, what would you be saying to them?
I think a few breaks in these games, I think we've seen it before, not just in the junior division. A break means nothing, you know? So it's about keeping it right in your head and making sure that you stay focused on each point at a time, each throw, each catch, and that might just get you where you need to be. You just wait for the mistake of the opponent. Here's another pull to the Polish. They will have a second chance for that O point. Made on the far sideline, patiently looks for the dump, finds it. Here's a nice gainer. Oldakowska continues down the sideline. Made has it again in front of the end zone, and that's a score for Poland. They even out the scoreboard. Maja Lipska with the score for Poland.
That's a nice comforter there for the Poles as well. Not only to get their first point of the game in the books, but as well, you know, a nice clean hold as well. They got into a bit of a trouble with a slightly high stall count earlier on in the possession, but did the right thing, turned squared up, really isolated and activated that reset player. Nice strong strike cut up the line as well, getting the disc in the power position and then working it towards the end zone. On the end zone line here, would be so easy just to panic a little bit, but Made saw the easy option and didn't hesitate to pull the trigger and brings us level pegging at 1 apiece.
So some of you in the chat are asking what games are going to be streamed throughout this week. We do stream all week.
Yeah, 5 games a day, with the exception of today, of course, with just the opener. But 5 games a day all the way through till through Friday, and then 3 games to finish up on next Saturday as well. All the World Junior Ultimate Championship games you can watch here on the WFDF YouTube channel, and all the EYUC games will be streamed on Ulti TV's YouTube channel, but they're all up and available for free to watch live and on demand as well.
So actually, go do that straight away. Just go and hit the subscribe button on the WFDF YouTube and on the Ulti TV one, just to make sure you don't miss any of the action.
Sounds like a very good idea. I appreciate that I might have some bias in that though. Pantling, oh, miscommunication, overthrow maybe. Brilliant effort coming back towards the disc from Towers, but she couldn't quite get underneath it. Maybe saw that as split second too late. Wasn't the intended target, but still nearly rescued it regardless.
First break chance for the Polish. They overthrow on the first pass. The disc is back with the British.
Emily Hill read that well and stole through to get it back. So second possession here for GB. This will be their first O point as 2 players collide there. Just needed a bit more communication between Robertson and Towers. But as it is, they ended up getting in each other's way. So Poles now back on offense.
And another overthrow on the first pass.
Just taking a little bit of time to find their range, perhaps. Obviously, so, you know, you see all the throwing in the warm-up and it looks good, but it's a little bit of a different proposition when you're in game, when you've got a force on, maybe you've got some tighter windows that you've got to hit, and again, you really feel the atmosphere and the intensity. Robinson coming underneath, dishes the disc off. And Hicks sees an option she likes deep, but that was not it. Krause read that well with the red hair and slapped it to the turf.
Great effort by Natalia Krause. She made sure she stayed in that position where she could reach that disc early. And this is another chance for the Poles. For now, they're going upwind. It's subject to change any second.
Yeah, and that disc is just too low, and Jasiak couldn't quite get her hands around it. And that's why I don't mind looking big early, partly because it really puts the threat of the deep game in your opponent's mind, and also because there's a decent chance you might get it with some good field position. Being aggressive, taking on the force with the break, and getting the goal as well, as Hicks finds Pantling to make it 2-1 to GB.
GB finally reel it in. There's been at least 3 turnovers in that last point, but nonetheless, it still counts. They were able to get the disc back almost immediately off the Polish. Good job by Polish defense, forcing the turnovers, but then unfortunately unable to convert or connect on those follow-up passes. I think the worst thing about the stream here is the nice break side throw for the score. We saw Pentling being completely open in the end zone.
Yeah, very aggressive with that break was Hicks. Captained the under-17 women back in 2019, part of the Spice squad and setup. They were the highest placing Great British women's team at Worlds in the end with Spice, which was a bit of an upset, but all credit to them. And Hicks, one of the captains this year, again, showing that maybe showing why she's been given that position. Again, being a very aggressive with the disc there, taking on that break and executing it to perfection.
So as I said, the one thing that is slightly annoying regarding the stream is that you cannot actually see how windy it is. So you might find some of the points maybe a bit sloppy, but I can tell you the wind right now is just uncomfortable for the players.
Yeah, it's deceptively windy here, I think.
And as we see some poaches from the GB defense, maybe almost, yeah, definitely a poach in the open side, because we see match defense downfield. The Polish have to face a different kind of defense for the first time.
Yeah, again, I quite like this, trying to force a high, just a high quantity of passes. And that time, when they finally look aggressive downfield, Odakowska can't wrap her hands around it.
She will set the mark as the British pick up.
This is Tran picking up for Great Britain. Nice upline cut. Burton gets it in that power position right on this sideline here, marked by the red tape. Looking for an option, they're not quite seeing one. In the end, they get one short. Thornton, the lefty, finds Rossiter again, cramming it down this sideline at the moment, but a nice break gives them a little bit of space to Burton. Burton shakes the head, doesn't like what to see downfield. Luth. Nice strike up, maybe a little bit overthrown, but wow, it almost just landed in the lap of Sophie Ball, and then the continuation to the end zone is dropped. And GB with the opportunity to create a bit of separation. Luth couldn't make the snag stick.
And the Polish with another chance, a wall of defenders in front of them. That's a nice sideways movement. Oh, and a low grab. Polish unable to hold on to it, and GB with a short field to work with.
Looking for the dish off to the handler running through, but they were unable to make that connection work. Great Britain now deciding to play down the far sideline, and there might be a little bit of a discussion here as to whether it was out of bounds, and it is going to be uncontested that the catch was out of play. So Poland will get the disc back. Good to see, again, good communication for everyone on the field. Call resolved quickly and fairly, which is what you want to see.
Łomnicka with a deep backhand shot. Grochowska tries to center the disc, two handlers underneath. They keep possession, swing it sideways. Continue that sideways movement, and he's the deep shot to a wide open receiver. Poland gets there, second score for Poland. Marika Łomnicka with the score.
I think you can tell that the crowd very much enjoyed that. First time we've really seen Poland open up the arm, try and stretch Great Britain, utilize the full length of the field. And I mean, regardless of what age bracket you are, if you can get those big plays, often they're so energizing for a team. But especially at the junior levels, where sometimes you do find it really is about confidence, that I always think that's a good look.
Well, from the Polish in the last point, I really like that they immediately started doing the right thing against the new GB defense. They swung the disc sideways, hoping that the disc will get there sooner than the defenders, and then got that nice gainer, which actually eventually allowed them to throw that deep shot to a wide open receiver. We see that on the replay. Łomnicka wide open, she scores, immediately raises her hands up and goes celebrate with her teammates, which is what this whole week is about, just enjoying a week with the same age bracket, enjoying good ultimate, good weather. We've had some rain actually this morning.
Yeah, I was a little surprised when I arrived that the AstroTurf field here was wet. I wondered if they'd just been watering it beforehand, but no. Apparently I missed an early shower with my delayed flight this morning.
That's how thorough the Polish are with their preparation of tournaments. They make sure they water the AstroTurf as well.
Chan has the disc in all sorts of space. GB shredding this. This is an ambitious look. The layout doesn't quite come up there. There is also a Great Britain player down in the end zone, and I think she's going to have to come off on the injury.
She's holding on to her calf, so hopefully it's just a cramp. Here's the nice inside forehand shot and the good layout attempt.
Barker's already got an assist this game, was looking to add a goal there as well, but I didn't quite see. I think the player was already down injured by that point. I haven't had a look on who that player is. They're getting checked over by the Great Britain medical staff at the moment, and this is it always feels like it stings a little bit more when it's juniors.
Exactly. We've been talking about this beforehand, Benji, that seeing some of the players already in braces coming into the tournament at a junior level is not what we would be hoping for in the future generations.
No, but yeah, injuries don't necessarily seem to care about how old or how experienced you are. They can they can hit you at any time, and obviously at the moment, I think the main concern of us here in the booth and everyone really on the field side is that the player down here is going to be okay. They are still being worked on by Great Britain's training staff.
But then again, I don't think it's necessarily a terrible thing when you go through some injuries early on. I think until the age of the first adult categories, I would say, you do have like your body is still evolving, so you're learning about how it works, what it needs, and you learn how to take care of it, which is also an important part of being part of sports. So it's not just about injury and then recovering from it, but it's also about how to learn how to prevent it, put in the work, listen to the signals and all that. So part of the experience, all part of the experience.
Yeah, I must admit that I'm turning 30 this month and I still have no idea how to take care of my body. So you can see that struggling to maybe still put some weight on that leg, being helped off. But good to see that the Great Britain player is back on their feet, although they are making their way gingerly to the sideline. Maybe Wildmore, perhaps? I'm just trying to see a look at the numbers. But it's difficult from this angle. Is that a 50? It might be Gwintoli, actually. Having said that, it is indeed Alicia Gwintoli. So hopefully she can get a bit more treatment on the sideline. Just going to be brought to the front of the end zone, and both sides will have to try and pick themselves up a little bit after that injury. Sucked a bit of the energy out of the game. Maybe took the wind out of both sides' sails.
Szczepanowska didn't like any of her options, so decided to center the disc eventually. Here's Kubicka, who finds Madej with 2 assists in this game already on the near sideline. Oh, and here's another deep shot. 2 players from the O-line underneath, and I think that might have been a score. Was she able to keep her feet in? She is pointing out of bounds, actually. That is Dobrosława Bardus.
Maybe calling the force out, potentially. So we've seen that Szczepanowska certainly has a license to shoot. More than happy to get the disc in her hands frequently and let her take the more expansive shots. Bardus is just
tying her shoe, putting her shoe back on. It seems like it will be called out of bounds.
And again, getting calls resolved quickly, good communication all round. It's exactly what you want to see at any level, but especially at juniors. Building up some of these international friendships and relationships all the way through, as that time Pantling just stopped, and that allowed Jasiak to come through.
The Polish get it back. Szczepanowska navigating the traffic, goes for the front of the end zone. She gets what she wants from Jasiak with a score for Poland.
And that is double happiness for Jasiak.
Woo!
Getting the run through block and then going coast to coast for the goal as well. For the first time this game, Poland have the lead. Must be frustrating for Great Britain. Having the disc and that shot, getting into the end zone, but they couldn't make it work. And the Poles getting the disc back. That time made the Brits pay. Haven't always been able to do it, but seemed to work on that occasion.
Here is the first deep shot from Poland that worked out really well for Łomnicka.
And it looks like a timeout being called here. I imagine, you know, especially because it's quite a hot day, if you're Great Britain, you've kind of not had the stuffing knocked out of you, but it's the injury to Gwentoli would be a de-energizer. So I do understand taking the time out here, getting a chance to get in that right headspace again.
I think the right thing to do maybe for the coaches would be to remind them that GB was able to force a break out of Poland. It was the first point of the game. But still, knowing that you have the ability to break is really important. It just means, like, we have had a close game so far, so clearly both teams are aware that they're able to compete with the other team and keep pace with them. So I think they just need to recover a little bit, make sure that their teammate is fine, and knowing that they need to get back out there full force, mentally in the game, and yeah, playing for her as well.
Two sides seem very evenly matched. About 20 minutes through this game, with the two different tournaments going on at the same time, there are slightly different rules as to the timings. All games are played to 15 with the cap +1. The issue is just when that time cap comes on. In the under-17 division, they're 80-minute games, but in the under-20s, we're playing full 100-minute contests.
Full on. In case you were wondering about the nations participating in the U20 women's category, we have two pools. This is the second pool in the women's division. Besides GB and Poland, we also have the Czech Republic, France, and Canada, whilst the other pool is featuring the US, New Zealand, Austria, Germany, and Italy.
We're really interested to see how it all shakes out over the course of the weekend, and it is an honour and a privilege to be here in Wrocław again. I think this is my 4th time I've been here, and I've loved every visit.
And here is GB with another chance to score a nice point. The wind has calmed down a little bit.
Towers finding an underneath option. Just towards the sideline, getting a hand in there, and just about sneaking that away is Łomnicka.
Łomnicka just very tight on that match D, eventually runs through the disc. And here is Jasiewicz picking up on the near sideline, looking for the reset. She gets it in the hands of Made. Made with a nice catch under pressure. Ooh, and here's the deep shot fake. They don't take it. Great swinging from the Polish. Find the upline cut for Made. Now Poland very near the end zone, but they patiently look for the reset. Chance to score in the break site. They don't take it, still looking for options. As the stall count gets higher, they go for the reset, and it pays off because they are able to score through the break site eventually. That was Katarzyna Ołdakowska with the score for Poland. Excellent stuff.
That's already Made's 3rd assist this game. So that's, you know, 75% of Poland's points have come from her hand. So clearly, it feels like Great Britain got to find a way to throttle her impact a little bit here if they're to turn this back in their favour. The Poles, having been 2-1 down, kind of riding the wave at the moment. 3 points on the bounce to go 4-2 up.
Well, Zuza Made is only 18 years old, and her story about how she started playing Ultimate is actually very cute. She says 3 years ago, her friend told her, after her first training, that she was running after the disc like a dog, and that she has to try this as well. And she said, okay, seems fun, and here she is at the World Juniors Championship. She's only been playing for 3 years, but her clubs include Sky in Warsaw, and Troubles in Warsaw, which is a well-established women's team at the European level as well.
What I love about these tournaments is kind of, you see teams play, some of them they look like the finished article already, and some of them you can tell that there's, you know, they're still developing, but you see what the ceiling can be, and you know that these are going to be players that are impactful for a long time to come. Morel finds Burton going down the line, being very effective. Rossiter looks, again, tries to squeeze that with the high release down the sideline, but Yashak says no. I think that time maybe just thought about it a little bit too long. The window closed, and at that point would have been better off faking and looking infield, but of course it's easy for me to say that from here in the booth.
Szczepanowska with a wide swing, floats over the head but is secure by Wojcik, and a wobbled catch gives the disc back to the British.
Wasted no time there, did Burton, but couldn't connect with Morel. We're working with that blade, and it was a little bit too far in front, maybe got too much edge on it. Could have just done with a little bit of backspin and just feathering it out there.
Now, watching the flags on the stands, we can see, as Bjorn Shea nicely mentioned at Masters, they're pointing towards each other, which means they're forcing middle benching. And it seems like another timeout has been called on the field, this time by the Polish.
Yeah, maybe seeing the opportunity here to really seize the initiative. If they could work it the full length of the field here, get the break, that would be their 4th point in a row, open up a 3-point advantage at 5-2. And that, again, it's certainly not insurmountable, but it's a really tasty cushion to work with.
I believe that is the idea behind this timeout. I do like the strategy, or the way the teams have been playing so far. We've been seeing some very nice aggressive upline cuts that have worked for the teams. I think GB so far looking slightly more hesitant, I should say, or kind of shy. Poland maybe encouraged by some of their nice run-through Ds, taking a bit more of an aggressive approach.
It feels like Poland, after struggling a little bit at the start, have found their rhythm, whereas GB are struggling for that. Hello, that's us live on stream. It's Benji Rees alongside Rahel Toshnerova, who we've racked up a fair few miles over this summer already, and it's a delight to be back in Wrocław here for the Joint Juniors Ultimate Championships, combining the World Juniors Ultimate Championships and the European Youth Ultimate Championships, 2 of my favourite events to cover, and it's wonderful to be back here doing it again.
We're very excited that at the end we're able to stream the whole week of action after the original planned 3 or 4 days, really. So thank you for all the support. Thank you for everyone watching, subscribing, sharing our content, or maybe contributing as a patron for Alti TV. All that allows more visibility for our sport, as well as more visibility for these young athletes. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, and hello to the nearly 600 of you watching this game live on the World Flying Disc Federation YouTube channel.
Disc gets tapped back into play after the second timeout of this showcase game. The British come out in a zone, which is a good idea, even though the Polish are currently going downwind. And here is the dropped disc. It was a bit too high for Poland, and GB knocking on the doorstep.
Burton's going to pick it up front and centre, just outside the end zone. One throw could do it, and I think that time Tran just stopped in her cut, but Burton had made the throw anyway, and it goes to ground. Got the turnover coming out with that zone. I like the idea, because if Poland had a specific play drawn up, they probably weren't expecting to come out and see that zone, but unfortunately they couldn't make the most of the short field, and the hosts have it back once more.
Kubicka in the middle, working with the other handlers, but that has the wrong edge on it, ends on the ground. Disc with GB once more.
Great Britain picking up quickly again, that time trying to attack the break side, but Szczepanowska was ready and waiting. See, wearing those sleeves, compression, trying to maybe keep those muscles warm. and also shield yourself from the sun. It is warm and sunny here in Poland, so not a bad idea. And the hosts once more trying to find this other break, but that time good downfield defense from Great Britain earns them the disc.
I think that might have been Thornton getting her hand in there.
It started out as a Great Britain O point once upon a time. It's got a little bit attritional, but Great Britain trying to find some rhythm again here. Morel. Still count rising. Goes for the hammer. Oh, this is spicy. Tipped into the hands of Great Britain. This is what happens if you don't catch your Ds. We've seen it so many times, and if you're going to learn that lesson, well, at least you get a chance to earn a little bit younger. Did the right thing on the high stall. The hammer, okay, get rid of the disc. Give your receivers a chance to make a play, sure. But the Polish defender did so well to get the position, got a huge hand on it, but could only mack it into the hands, the awaiting hands of the Great Britain receiver. We see it again here with the stall count rising. Kiva Morel running out of options. A huge hand on the disc.
I think Patkowska was going for the volleyball spike, thinking that she's going to smack that straight into the ground, but she just didn't hit it hard enough, and the disc had enough float that the GB player was just able to get her hands underneath. And what a lovely piece of action.
Right, I'm not sure that's how Rossiter would have expected to score her first goal of these championships, but I'm not sure that she'll mind. They all count. There's no points for style, although admittedly it probably does might earn you some fans watching on the live streams back at home, whether that's here in Poland, back in Great Britain, or all around the world as well.
So GB is staying alive. They don't let Poland, or their timeout in fact, get too far ahead. And here they are with a really nice pull that's so floaty that it allows the defenders to get there quite quickly. And Poland, again forced to swing around the GB zone. We have Made surveying the options downfield as she's surrounded by the GB defenders. Now they swing it to Jasiewicz to the sideline.
This zone has got a couple of turns for the Brits, so I like sticking with it.
Oh, and that's a low throw. Hits the turf. No chance for a catch. And GB, with very little downwind, will go the other way.
Yeah, this will give them a chance to level it up and bring the game back on serve, and that one, nearly picked up by a couple of players in the end, just lands straight back in the grasp of Made.
Now a nice swing to Łomnicka, and that throw a little bit behind for Made. I think the Polish really looking for more upfield options and just not hitting the cuts right, as well as the dumps and swings that they have been doing so well in the first part of the game.
And you can hear the sounds in the background trying to drum up that atmosphere. Great Britain wanting to bring this on serve. Stretching it to Pantling. Pantling sees an option downfield, doesn't see the space that she wants with Chan. So goes back into the hands of Jones here. Jones a little bit behind Harvey, but I think she'd be disappointed that she couldn't make that catch stick.
And here is the Polish going the other way. Quick give and go action by Made. She gets it again. Big swing, but that's intercepted by GB defense. The zone proving effective.
Chan was right there, so I'm not sure whether the throw just came out slightly askew or just guilty of locking onto the receiver and not seeing the Great Britain defender, who was right there. Swung to Ellis. Ellis looking downfield, sits one up there. Pantling rises to make the catch. Looking at the end zone. Not sure they like the options there. And on a high stall trying to blade it over the top. And was able to get enough height on it to take it past the defender, but not quite enough to send it into the waiting arms of Whitehall.
Great look by Pantling. That was a good option. It was just a bit more difficult to execute in this wind. but great look nonetheless. And GB sticking with that zone. It has worked for them so far. Poland start in the middle of their end zone line. They will rely on their big swings. And that's an overthrow, and that is unfortunate. GB with basically one throw.
Yeah, this Great
away.
Britain zone is having the desired effect because it is forcing these short field turnovers. They just haven't been as efficient with the disc from the pickup as they would like. Ellis picks it up, trying to get a one-on-one at the front of the end zone. And it works to perfection that occasion. Defenders got crossed wires a little bit there. And Barker adds a goal to an earlier assist. And we are back on serve in this game at 4 apiece. The pendulum swings back and forth.
The organizers clearly doing a great job picking a tight game for the opener here at the World Junior Ultimate Championship. We'll see the replay one more time as Ellis walks the disc to the front of the end zone, closely marked by Ołdakowska. And it was just one decisive upline pass that was needed for GB to even out the game.
It looked to me like the defenders got in each other's way slightly, so I was almost expecting the pick call to come. But I think maybe deciding that actually Barker got to that space early enough that even though they might have applied a little bit of pressure, it probably wasn't going to affect them making the catch, so the goal stands.
No game advisors at this tournament, Benji?
No, we've been familiar with those over the last few weeks and months. So yes,
they have retired now to go through the feedback.
There is, of course, the various coaches and Spirit captains. We'll be keeping an eye on Spirit throughout the week. We did see both sides having like not quite a Spirit circle, but Spirit lines beforehand. Just having those discussions, opening those avenues of communication, so that if anything does arise during the game, it's a lot easier to broach that subject with your opposition.
Wojcik centers for Poland, and here's a nice low grab by Pardus, and this will be an important offensive hold for Poland if they can make it all the way to the end zone.
Yeah, Great Britain again going with this zone that has proved fruitful in generating those turnovers.
Blicharz, the lefty, started on the near sideline. Now the Polish are on the opposite side. They think about the full cross-field flick, that these are nice wide swings and difficult to execute in this wind. Blicharz goes backwards again. Poland really forced to work the handlers. Now they bring one more in, that's Pardus.
Yeah, they're really slowly matriculating their way down the field. Just taking a few yards maybe when the disc swings from one sideline to the other.
Wojcik gets a nice gainer to Blicharz. Seems like Poland will rely on the wide open swings rather than any crashes into the cup. That seems like there was a bit of contact maybe. We see the receiver holding on to her foot.
Yeah, I think just a trod on toe. As that time the big swing overshoots the first receiver, but very good backup there from Wojcik.
Wojcik comes to the rescue, but now Pardus has it again. Decides to go through the break site. We see the British trying to take away the nearest handler options, and here is the big put into the end zone. Defense is there, but so are some of the Polish players. That's just out of reach.
I think the first Polish receiver got a hand on it and nearly ended up tipping it to her teammate. But yeah, eventually it was just, again, they're testing the patience there. How long can you stay with the system, stay in rhythm? And eventually, is that deep shot going to prove too tempting to pass up? As Hicks gets in good power position here, but there's no one immediately available. That one rifled downfield, but doesn't find Wildmore.
I was about to say, GB getting a lot of momentum in that point, really streaking for those upline cuts and then continuing with a courageous deep shot of their own, trying to respond to some of the deep game that we've seen from the Polish earlier in some of the earlier points. But here are the Poles back again, having to work the full length of the field. That was a wide shot, and here's a ripper. The receiver tries to grab it with one hand, and that was not a good idea. Unfortunately, she's unable to hold on to it, and now GB.
It looked to me like Krauser was caught a little bit in two minds, not sure whether to come and take it early or try and run it down into the end zone, and in the end kind of got caught a little bit in the middle. Here's Hicks on the far sideline, looking for the underneath option, finds it in the form of Towers. Towers shooting for the end zone, but there's no one to receive that and reel it in.
If you can see the flags in the background, GB now in the downwind direction. You have to flow those deep shots quite a bit to make sure that they make it all the way to where you want them to go. Otherwise, they will just get pushed down. Oh, and here will be an interception by GB one more time. Now they're way closer than last time.
Tried to float that over the top, and Wildmore came in from this wing position, hit it to the ground, and it's going to give them the slow chance to set up here. Going to stack in the end zone. Hicks will pick up. Doesn't have a dump option available at the moment. Going immediately for the inside flick, it's high, but it's caught well by Hill. And Great Britain, after conceding 3 on the spin, get 3 on the bounce of their own, and they've retaken the lead here at 5-4.
And I think we're just repeating the start of the game. They started off this game with a break. Then we were back on serve, and now they've added one more. It was a great defensive effort, first of all. They try to keep surprising the Polish. Once they figure out how to work against one of their types of defense, they bring in another one. And it's good to have an arsenal to keep your opponent guessing. And they have done just that. I think the Polish might be able to figure out the different, the current zone look eventually, but you never know. It might be too late.
Yeah, a really good zone is effective at any level of ultimate. And GB are proving it here, and that time just getting that inside flick out into space nice and early, and Hill accelerating to the front of the end zone to make the grab. Hill, one of the rising stars in GB Ultimate, most recently seen out on the fields in Cincinnati, playing for Iceni, one of the UK's premier programs.
Thank you everyone for the engagement in the YouTube chat. We love to see you watch the streams. We love to see you engaged. Just make sure that you remember that this is a junior championship, and we want to keep this as positive and as fun as possible for not just us here in the commentary booth, but mostly for the players who might go back, re-watch the streams. So these chats will be moderated, but I believe that all the fans at home wish these players nothing but the best. And here is an early turnover.
Great Britain with a chance to open up a 2-point lead here. Burton will pick up. There's a wide open dump in Kiva Morel. That's where the disc goes. And now downfield finds Jones. Jones being ambitious there with the inside flick. It was low. Maybe a call here for a bump on the mark.
Good to see the young players getting familiar with the hand signals. We immediately see some of the downfield players signaling a game stoppage.
And that's good game awareness, not just to echo the call and let everyone know what's going on, but it shows that you've got an eye on what's going on at the disc as well. And especially in these conditions where the wind can be changeable, I just like that alertness and being switched on. Although they actually are going to retract the call, so the turnover will stand. I don't know why I'm echoing the hand signals here in the booth. You can't see me. It's just a force of habit. It's a good habit to get into, I think, though, for players out there. Just whenever you see the hand signals, echo them. Make sure everyone knows what's going on.
Kubicka walks the disc to the line for Poland. Goes to the middle immediately. Weber. Ooh, and a low grab just out of reach for Poland. One more chance for GB.
I was slightly surprised to see Great Britain play match defense after the turn, rather than sticking with that zone. That has been very effective, but maybe just changing things up a little bit here, not giving Poland a chance to get ready. And that time Burton finds Jones. They set up that isolation at the front of the end zone superbly. And that inside flick was true, and Burton to Jones gives Great Britain a 6-4 lead.
Great Britain really finding their groove in this game. They started off, like we said, a little bit shy, a little bit hesitant maybe, quite startled by the tight match D of the Polish and their deep game, but we will see the replay of that last pickup. Great break side throw.
Yeah, they've got Jones set up pretty much front and center of the end zone. And with the disc on that far sideline, it's a break throw, yes, it's attacking that break side space. But because of where the cutter starts, rather than getting one of these really angled inside-out flicks, it's a relatively flat throw into space. So they've set up the positioning there nice and early to make sure that the thrower there, Burton, can get an easier throw off as possible. Obviously capable of maybe taking on something a little bit more tricky, but on that occasion, you know, why necessarily make it harder than you need to?
That's right. So as you can see, the teams are again huddled up for their timeouts. We've already had 2 in this first half, and I do see why Poland would need this one. They have struggled with in the last points with the GB defense, so a quick few instructions could fix things up for them for the coming points. We see Michał Dul with his team. He is the coach and the well-known Polish player.
Yeah, also one of the tournament organising committee here in Wrocław, where he's also just a familiar figure in the ultimate scene in general, both here in Wrocław and around Poland. Plays for the Panthers, which is the new name of the open and women's sides here in Wrocław.
They're actually doing an excellent job here in Poland, working on the junior program, especially here in around Wrocław, regularly organizing ultimate camps for school children in the summer. I think they've had over 300 kids sign up this year. So
amazing.
Crazy amount of work, but as we know from experience, this will take about 10 years plus to bear its fruits.
It does, but you do see that those countries that invest in their youth, it does pay off down the line. You look at how Italy have been built into an ultimate powerhouse. Most recently, if we cast our minds back a long way back to, when was it? This time last week, when we saw Revolution from Medellin, Colombia, take home the women's division title at the World Ultimate Club Championships. And that all comes from investing in the youth and starting them young and getting them those extensive playing opportunities.
Excellent awareness from, I think it was WJUC. We saw there earlier where she couldn't see the disc first but managed to turn around on time. Oh, and that is too big of a swing.
Yes.
For Jasiewicz.
I think a slight miscommunication as well was coming short, and it was swung wide around the back. GB with a chance to extend this advantage. Pantling will bring it in. Very upright stance. Swinging towards the far sideline, where Ellis wants to uncork one deep. Chan wants to continue towards the end zone, but the link-up isn't made.
So this is an important chance for Poland, because I think they really need a good offensive point, but they try it again with the wide swing, and no surprise that there will be a collision under that high disc.
Uncontested as well. So Szczepanowska went up high, went up early.
Yeah, it looked like some contact was made.
But that's exactly what this GB zone is trying to force, those high floaty throws over the top that will invite pressure.
But Poland sticks with it. Weber on the far sideline continues to, handlers keep it going. Poland now with 4 players down the back. Here's an interception by GB.
Yeah, Barker just getting a hand on that, tipping it out of the sideline. Pantling will pick up once more. You can definitely score in one pass here. It wouldn't surprise me if they don't find anything downfield. If we see Ellis try and power up line. Oh, but a little stutter step. And then the toe tap on the sideline as well. Jessica Barker. That is some sweet feet. Let me tell you, 7-4 to Great Britain.
That was very much an textbook piece of offense, end zone offense. I really hope we get to see a replay, because that is exactly what you try to teach your youngsters, one of the ways to get free into the open side, you start cutting hard, then slow down, make your defender think that you're not going to continue that cut, and then you speed up again, as she did, into the upline space. But it seems like there is a little bit of a discussion among the players whether she was able to keep her feet in.
Yeah, going to see if we can get a replay queued up with that. We have some interested parties looking for replays. We've got Michał, the Polish coach to our left, and none other than Cy Hill, head of UK Ultimate, in front of us. Not here, not just, you know, supporting Great Britain, but also cheering on his daughter who's playing in this game.
And we hear the whistle of the volunteers signaling the end of the discussion time, forcing the players to take a decision based on their knowledge or potentially the knowledge of the sideline. Seems like the disc will be sent back.
Often in these scenarios where it's so tight you can't quite tell, contesting it's not always a terrible result. So Pantling have it once more, and there is that upline cut that comes, and the catch isn't made, but there is pressure in the back. I think this is going to be another call.
Ellis with almost there was a lot of pressure, difficult to say what player was initiating the contact. They definitely went shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, we talked about it earlier, how if you don't get that isolation at the front of the end zone, often it is getting that handler making that aggressive strike cut up the line.
In any case, I think both teams have been killing it with this upline game. We've seen some really nice cuts and really nice throws up the line.
Yeah, it's a strategy that a lot of teams use, and it's one thing knowing that it's coming. It's another thing trying to stop it. Because even if you tell yourself, I'm not going to get beaten up the line, I'm not going to get beaten up the line, sometimes you do just get suckered in a little bit, and as soon as you flip those hips, as soon as you stop those feet and you get your weight set, it's so easy to concede that space.
So as always, we do have time limits for call discussions. Right now, we see the players discussing it very calmly, sitting on the ground. That's a new look. But honestly, it does help to just put yourself in a calm position. We've had a couple at our Czech Nationals where the guys just knew in advance that they were going to have a heated discussion during that game, so they agreed before that game that they were just going to pull their shorts down before they start discussing anything. And they actually did that, and it was really funny, and it did really bring the spirit of the game up.
I'm fully not advocating that here. Just want to make that abundantly clear. But I think at this point, you know, the discussion's taken a couple of minutes. You never want to say, oh, well, you always want to have the discussion. But again, after a while, rather than, you know, get sides too out of rhythm, contest it, forget about it, and go again.
And here's Pantling once more with the disc for GB, right in front of the end zone. Can they do it for the third time?
Again, you can still hear that drumming in the background. Pantling turns around and turns away from the field, but still finds Barker as the reset. And if Pantling can't throw the score, then she'll catch it instead.
GB go up 7-4 over Poland in the showcase game. And the first game of this championship, that was some lovely end zone offense. They went for the upline twice, ended up being sent back on a call, and they eventually do the dump and then the upline, and it works just as well.
It's one of those things where often if you have those scoring opportunities and they get sent back, it can be so easy to lose your focus, lose composure, get frustrated. But Great Britain there, again, kept calm, kept cool. Pantling cuts in towards the centre of the field, and as soon as Kubicka oversets onto that one, eats the plant and burst back to the open side. The throw goes up nice and early from Barker, and it makes it 7-4.
4 breaks in a row for GB.
Yeah, they were 4-2 down at one point.
That's right. They were able to break Poland straight off the first point. Then Poland came back, getting 2 breaks back on them. But now GB just look ready to take the half.
Yeah, games to 15, halves at 8. here this week for both divisions, although time cap is different. It's 80 minutes in the under-17 divisions and 100 minutes here in the under-20s. I nearly said 20 minutes in the under-100s, and that would be so wrong, although technically they are all under 100. That pool is going to land out of bounds. I think that's our first bricked pool of the day.
That's right. We've seen some great pulls given the slight wind that we're facing here at Pola Marszowe. We have Dobroslava Pardus taking the disc to the brick mark, sporting some white and red
ribbons?
Ribbons, that's right, that's the word, ribbons in her hair. She's looking for the reset. Eventually gets it. That disc a little behind. We see Anna Jasiewicz tripping a little bit as she stumbles either over herself or her defender, but she seems okay. She just needs a minute.
You're not sure if she got a stud caught in the turf, potentially. It does seem like she's going to be okay to carry on, which is excellent news.
Disc tapped back in. She goes for the ripper forehand, but that one is a bit too short. I think she was aiming for Jasiak, who's closing in, but that throw just not long enough. GB with a chance to take the half for the first time.
You see the option down that far sideline, but it's quite upright in the delivery and it blades out of the hand quite early rather than having the opportunity to get out wide and step into the throw. Although again, I do appreciate this is very easy to say from the sideline.
A side stack look from GB.
Trying to clear out that large centre of the field. Spicy inside shot. Finds Hill. Instantly recognisable with that bun tied up high behind her head. Robertson underneath just sneaks it past the on-rushing defender. Takes a bit of time to get back into position. The up line cut comes, but didn't go early enough. And that was all the invitation Jasiak needed to hit it to the floor.
She's been a beast on defense for this Polish team. Here's Made with a big break. Out of reach of the intended receiver, but saved by Łomnicka, who centers to Wójcik. Wójcik going sideways. Made. Back to Wójcik. Wójcik with a big sidearm, bladey thing into the end zone. Again, the receiver unable to get there on time. But that was a better piece of offense from Poland. They've been kind of thrown off by the British zone in the last few points.
You could say they maybe got fortunate with the overthrow that was collected, but you could say that it was excellent awareness as well to make sure that they were ready to scoop up the missed opportunity. There's a player charging deep, but Robertson just that time hesitant to pull the trigger. Hill, this one is going to float a little bit on the second attempt. Again, excellent focus, this time from Robinson. Robinson wants the reset, but that one falls straight to the floor.
That is some good defensive effort from the Polish, not giving up. Really, you can tell that they're trying to stay in this first half. Maybe it's also the fans in the YouTube chat. We have Lost and Found, who are a big fan of Jasiak.
And then an aggressive break to the end zone. Finally, Poland will stop the bleeding. Brilliant low release from Jasiewicz. Finds the target, and Poland get back on the board for 7-5.
Anna Jasiewicz, 18 years old, has played for RJP from Warsaw, as well as Sky. She has taken the third place at Women's Polish Championships 2022, and her ultimate heroes include Adam Tomczyk, Mateusz Dyda, Monika Żaczkowska, and Ewa Banbula-Dyda. They taught her everything, and she is really grateful for their support. All of them legends of Polish Ultimate.
Yeah, and we're just seeing there the replay of the score. Jasiewicz finding Wójcik, and it is quite something. You know, we mentioned that Poland, you know, they're the home nation here. You know, you're playing in front of the crowd and on the live stream as well. And as you see, of course, playing in front of some of your heroes as well, it does add a little bit of something to the equation.
Jasiewicz also overcoming an ACL injury. She had her reconstruction 1 year ago, and she says she feels more confident after it and strong because it broke her mental barrier. It's just great to see, just what we talked about. Sometimes you just have to go through some experiences that just make you stronger and make you realize how to fulfill your full potential.
Yeah, and we saw Yashevitz pull up a little bit earlier in the point, but looked in fine form with that raking break.
So we're keeping in this first half. We're about 53, 54, 58 minutes in. And here's GB back on 0. Poland sticking with tight match D.
Burton gets it nice and early to the break side. Low throw towards the sideline. Chopping the feet. That one floating, pops up a little bit, but it was caught by Jones. Jones continues to Rossiter. Burton. A couple of players come towards the same space. Now the stall count rises. Can Burton get out of it? Finds an option in the end zone. And Bull makes the catch to send Great Britain into half.
That was an incredibly casual catch by Bull, but she does it with some nonchalance. That was a wonderful last point to take us to the end of the first half. GB are up 8-5 over Poland, but this game ain't over yet, Benji.
For Great Britain, what a time to find their first clean hold of the half. Again, maybe got a little bit dicey getting on the high stall count just in front of the end zone, but again, kept the awareness. He knows that on the high stall count, put something out to space, but then rather just kind of, you know, blast this through the end zone, just take something off it a little bit here. And Bull sticks out that left arm, as you mentioned. Looks like just playing catch in the park, not, you know, the opening game at a World Championships. So 8-5 Great Britain lead here at half-time. We're going to take a little bit of a break here in the booth, get some water on, stretch off. I recommend you do the same and don't go anywhere because the second half of this game continues after these messages. Welcome back to the joint Juniors Ultimate Championships. It is the World Junior Ultimate Championships and the European Youth Ultimate Championships. They've joined forces here for WJUC, and you're joining us midway through the opening contest. It's a World Juniors game, under 20 women's division, and Great Britain up 8-5 at half here on the home nation of Poland. It's Benjamin Rees alongside Rachel Toshnerowa here from beautiful Wrocław. And Rachel, what are your kind of summarising thoughts of that first half?
Crazy stuff, crazy stuff. We started off with a break by the British, followed up by 2 breaks from Poland. We thought that's where the table started turning, and that's where Poland was going to strike ahead and take the British by surprise. But that's actually not what happened. It was GB who then scored 4 breaks in a row, then letting Poland convert one of their O points and then really taking the half 8-5 with a nice difference. We saw some great action from both teams. First, the Polish showed us that they're not afraid of showing off some deep game, and they were very good on their match D, sticking tight, getting a few run-through blocks. But GB coming out with few different types of defensive looks, and they have all worked really well against the Polish. They eventually managed to figure them out, but it took enough time for the British to get the turnovers they needed and eventually convert.
So going into the second half, Great Britain, as mentioned, up 8-5, and they're receiving to begin the second stanza of this contest. Games played to 15. The time cap in the under-20 divisions is at 100 minutes. So roughly half an hour to play before that cap comes on, and then, as you usually do, finish the point and one to the highest score, and that becomes your new score cap.
As some of our fans in the YouTube chat mentioned, 100 minutes is quite brutal. It depends on the conditions, of course. Today we have quite lovely ultimate weather.
Yeah, it's cool. It has cooled down a little bit. It was scorching earlier in the day, but yeah, the breeze as well provides a nice little cooling effect. But for a lot of these players, this will be the first time they're getting to experience the full intensity 100-minute games, and there certainly is an adjustment.
So GB with the advantage of starting on offense out of the half.
Pantling his hand on a jersey. And this one put up into space, going to be the chase down. And I thought for a minute there that Harvey was going to get to it, but it just kept on going and she never quite got herself in position to bid.
Poland with a chance for an early break. Weber. No options downfield, being shut down. She goes for the high release breakthrough. Now she gets it again, almost in the same spot. Matchup D from the British downfield.
The Great Britain defense was key to masterminding that turnaround, and they're looking to cause problems again here.
Yashevich with a big gainer. Again, that upline cut, we've been commending those from both teams in this game so far. Huge forehand throw into the end zone, but it will sail out of bounds for Poland.
Yeah, Weronika Grochowska was the intended target, and you could see her always had eyes on it, tracking it down that far sideline, but the disc just fades away out of bounds and doesn't really give her a chance to make the play.
One of the 2 Grochowska sisters out of Czarnków. GB walk the disc to the front of the end zone once more. Second chance for the British offense out of the first half.
It's going to be Pantling to bring the disc into play. Got a reset set up very central in Ellis. Trying to set up that cut towards the far sideline. Poland trying to force them there as well. Upline cut goes. Stall count rising. Pantling can't get it off, and it's an uncontested stall.
So an accepted call by Pantling. Great spirit. The girls clapped their hands, and Poland just shy of the end zone. They take the reset. Great high grab by Jasiewicz. Jasiewicz with a wide swing. Defenders underneath. And that will be a D. And again, a shake of hands between the players.
Very formal shake of hands as well. But Tran tracked that disc all the way and always looked the favourite to get that hand there and knock it away. Oh, the little stutter step to open up the space on that underneath cut. That one's really ripped downfield, and it felt like that one caught Harvey more than she caught it, but had herself in position.
Almost a goes D by Łomnicka, but that is an overthrow on the up line for Ellis.
Yeah, maybe got a hand to it, but just couldn't quite wrap the fingers round.
Weber picks up once more as we see her teammate signaling where she wants the next throw, but that is just out of reach of Jasiewicz.
And then on the end zone line, it's a simple pop into the end zone from Ellis to Pantling. Ellis' second assist, and Pantling's third goal gives Great Britain a 9-5 lead.
It seems like we have one more player down. She's holding onto her foot. Either she got stepped on,
I think it's...
or else rolled her ankle maybe. No, she's getting up now. She seems okay.
So it's Jasiewicz. I imagine it might be from that, from the attempted layout bid maybe. Just taking a little bit of time to, yeah, you see that after the, it's not during the point, after it finishes, she goes down. Looks like she's clutching that left boot. So fingers crossed that's nothing too serious. Toe injuries, they always seem innocuous, but they're not to be trifled with because they can really hurt.
Well, here's my little piece of advice for any juniors who are heading to their first big tournaments. If you are aware that you'll be playing for a long time, going to your top speed quite often, and you might meet AstroTurf on the way, make sure to put on lots of nail polish, 3 layers at least. I would recommend it for everyone.
What, on the hands or on the feet?
Oh, on the feet.
Oh, okay.
Well, you can do both, of course. But for the toenails, it does save them from a lot of damage.
Interesting. I did not know that. I must admit, I can't quite bring myself to paint my toenails, but I think I've been known to.
Just go with see-through.
I've been known to paint my. I've been known to paint my fingernails.
That's true.
I can't. I would just end up painting my fingers. My girlfriend's been known to paint my fingernails.
So we have the girls who paint the nails and the boys who braid, which is a reference to Mish Phillips, the Revolution player who won the World Ultimate Club Championship last week. Her husband braids her hair.
Oh, that's
hashtag boys who braid.
Yeah, I must have anything sort of hands-on and creative like that. I'm an absolute fish out of water. So this is an expansive option swinging across the field, but well tracked down.
This time it works out. Blicharz able to bring it down.
Whoa.
By that knee brace. They immediately keep swinging the disc wide, that clearly being the instruction from the coach.
So can we just talk about that cheeky little push pass into the cup there from Blicharz? Absolutely love that.
I didn't even notice it was a push pass. It was flying so nicely. And now here's a nice combination of some cup crashing from the Polish as well. Wojcik fakes the, that is Szczepanowska, fakes the hammer, doesn't take it. Szczepanowska gets it again. Cup crash from Wojcik.
I feel that they're being a lot more aggressive getting into the teeth of that defense, whereas before all of the movement seemed to come from around the back, and that time 1-2 Polish receivers can't get hands around it.
I think the British zone really getting into the heads of the Polish. Whenever they start to seem like they've figured it out, the turnover occurs.
When they can move the disc quickly, it looks good, but whenever it stagnates, that's when they get themselves into problems. It's just an isolation for Hill at the front of the end zone, drags the defender all the way to the break side, and with Szczepanowska overcommitted, works back towards the open side. Hill catches from Hicks, and that will make it 10-5.
And now we hear Dulu, the coach of the Polish U20 women, getting really loud. I think he will have to come up with another strategy now for the girls, because what they've been doing for the past few points has not been working for them. We saw a much better game earlier in the first half.
Yeah, I think it's partly that because they see the deep defenders there, they're a little bit hesitant to take the deep shots on. And I think they need to, partly to stop everything getting compressed at the front of that zone, partly because, you know, you have the potential to make those big plays downfield, and also because even if it doesn't come off, you're not giving Great Britain those short fields, and they look very organised getting those end zone sets ready to go.
Yeah, I think we've seen very little shots through the cup. They have started doing some of the crashing in the last point, but we've had very little looks over the first and second cup of the zone, let alone deep shots if short on options. But still enough time to go, and we've seen some great match D from the Polish, so if they can reel one in, I'm sure there's a lot of girls on the sideline very much ready to take the stage.
Yeah, getting some questions about the format. Each division with a different number of teams works slightly differently. So if you want to find out more information, you can find that all on the website, which is wjuc.sport.
You can find the link in the description to our stream, to the video on YouTube right now. And here's an interception by the British.
The swing just thrown straight into the waiting arms of Kiva Morel. Now on a high stall, maybe Morel looking into the center of the pitch. Burton sticks a tough grab and gets this one out of space, looking for Morel again behind her, but she makes it work. Morel wants to go wide, locks onto Burton, doesn't see it, and so shoots into the end zone. Well, this is going to float and hang, and in the end, Madej is there to just calmly slap it out of the sideline.
GB looked very confident after that interception with their O points, with their
offense.
Offense, yeah.
Got there in the end.
But unfortunately, that last pass didn't have the desired or expected trajectory. And here's the Polish stuck in the coffin corner, front of their end zone, far sideline. They get it off for the reset. Upline option overlooked. And that break side throw, again, a little bit behind on the player. GB at the brick mark.
Burton looks, shoots for goal towards the back of the end zone, and leaking out of the backside of that stack to make the catch. Looks to me like Barker. That'll be her second goal to go along with a couple of assists, although it was tricky to see through all the traffic in the center of the end zone, and that will make it 11-5.
And this is a very difficult spot to be in. You are in the spotlight, you are on the stream, you are the home nation, you've been put forward, selected as a representation of your country's ultimate for this show game. So lots and lots of pressure for these young women already. They have shown that they're capable of not just playing well against this British team, but also score some breaks against them. They've had 2 in the first half. But somehow I think they have gotten quite distracted with this GB zone look. And so far they haven't seemed to find the right recipe to answer it properly. In any case, you've been asking about the format. We've said it's different for all the divisions at this tournament. For women, we currently have 2 pools. Besides GB and Poland in this pool, we also have Canada, France, and Czech Republic. The other pool features USA, New Zealand, Austria, Germany, and Italy, and they will eventually change into power pools. Yeah,
the top 2 teams in each pool go into a pool of the top 4. The 3rd and 4th place teams in each pool go into a separate pool as well, and then the top 2 teams go straight to the semi-finals, and then the bottom 2 teams in the top power pool play the top 2 teams in the middle power pool, if that makes sense.
So another pull goes up for the Polish. I think if they want to stay in this game, this is one of their last chances to get this right against the GBD.
Also want to put this out there very quickly that I misidentified the scorer last time. Apologies. It was Beatrix Towers who caught the goal in the end.
Again, they're trying to swing the disc quickly, and here is a nice shot through the end zone. They continue quickly. Blichert. She's the lefty on this team. Wide swings. Szczepanowska working with the other handlers. Another nice gainer, and here's the deep shot into the end zone. The players underneath, and that's a score. Poland finally reel it in. Jasiak Iza for the score for Poland, and that was the zone offense we wanted to see from Poland for the past 5 points at least, Benji.
Yeah, being aggressive with it, got the downfield spacing right, and a couple of delicious looking inside flicks as well, scything through the defense from the likes of Kubicka among others. And then that time, again, they found the right moment to know when to hold it and also when to uncork it. And this time it's Pardrus who sees the target towards the back of the end zone. Jasiak just takes her time, it's beaten Ellis to the spot, and they made that look, they were so confident with it that time that it almost makes you wonder why they've been struggling with it.
Exactly, I completely agree, because I think they've been capable of this from the start. They just somehow weren't able to to convince themselves they can, basically. But now we finally get to see the Polish defense put in the work.
Yeah, so Great Britain up 11-6 here, just over 80 minutes on the clock. It's first to 15 here this week in the under-20 divisions. There is a time cap at 100 minutes, so when that hooter goes to signal the end of the game, you finish the current point, and then whatever the score is, you add 1 to the highest score, and that becomes your new score cap. So let's say, for example, it's 11-6, the hooter goes, you score to make it 12-6, you play game to 13.
Madej pulls the disc for Poland, and here's GB once more with the O. The side stack starting point worked out for them quite well.
It feels like they're getting the offense set quite a way downfield to give them space to attack the unders. Here is the offense getting to work. Already about level with the brick mark here. Ellis doesn't see a reset that they like, and that one is too low. Harvey went to ground, but they were never going to get a chance of scooping it up.
The wind pushed that down as soon as it left the thrower's hand. And Poland with a chance to break. They start with a nice throw to the break side, and they continue with a big gainer to Łomnicka.
A break here would really lift home spirits.
Jasiewicz with a wide swing. Continued by another one. Can they run it down? Yes, they can. Grochowska with the save and into the end zone for Jabłońska. First score for Maria Jabłońska out of Poland, and that's a break. First one in the second half, but also one after a really long time for Poland.
Yeah, Madej racking up their 4th assist of the game here for the Poles, so throwing over half of their scores, and a clean break there for Poland. You know, GB turned the disc over, you know, a long way deep, and Poland just looked so comfortable with it that time. A key part of that, I think, was getting it towards the break side early, first with that aggressive inside backhand and the flick continuation, and then it gave them space to attack and flow down the open side of the field, and eventually the throw from Madej to Jabłońska is true, and Poland, they're not out of this yet. They're not going to go down without a metaphorical fight.
So happy to see that break out of Poland, giving us a lot to talk about, prolonging this game, or at least giving us the hope that this could still be a tight game. I'm sure there's plenty to come. We have a whole week of streaming ahead of us.
Yeah, and with Poland as well, because you've got, you know, a partisan crowd here, if you can get a couple more points on the board, you know, maybe you feel that swell in the crowd, that who knows.
Poland also competing at this championship in the U20 Open division, as well as the U17 mixed. And that will be it for Poland. We have no nation, I believe, that has a team in all categories represented at this tournament.
No, I think the key is teams that have put in a mixed division haven't put in both open and women's divisions. I think part of the reason that the European Ultimate Federation and the World Flying Disc Federation were keen to get mixed divisions here is to give a chance to the countries that can't necessarily get 2 single-gender rosters into the tournament, as that one is knocked out at the sideline. Pantling was the target downfield, but it was really well defended.
Huge defense by Weronika Wójcik, giving the Polish a chance, another chance for a second break in a row. They pick up, center the disc, floats over the head of Szczepanowska, but she gets it on the second effort. She's examining the option. She will have to go through the break side, and she does. That's a lovely put for Wójcik. And Wójcik, confident after that. D goes with the deep shot right in front of the end zone. Are the Polish knocking on the doorstep, but they take it around still. And here is the pass, another break for the Poles. They make the score 11-8. That was Iza Jaszak with a third goal of this game for her.
That's 3 points on the bounce now for Poland, and they haven't turned the disc over while doing so. There is, however, some sort of stoppage on the field. Pantling's gone down around midfield. They're going to get some treatment.
That wouldn't be a great occurrence for GB. Pantling has been excellent for them so far. She's had 3 goals so far in this game, and she's been big moving around the disc as well. Here is the deep put. Receiver gets up high.
What I like is that they look at the end zone, see it's not there, but they've got the awareness to take that quick dump off rather than hold the disc for too long, and then threads the needle into the end zone to Jaszak.
Unexpected throw from Krause. She went to the forehand side with an inside backhand. A 17-year-old out of Wrocław, plays for Flowers Wrocław, and then of course now they're called Panthers Wrocław, as well as Flow Junior. So lots of Flow or Panthers Wrocław players on this team. Seems like.
Yeah, I think Szczepanowska's gone over just to, sorry, it's Szczepanowska, excuse me, who's gone over just to check, you know, maybe when the injury occurred, whether this affected what happened downfield.
I think the spirit overall in this game has been just excellent. We've seen lots of claps, lots of smiles, if not quick discussions, then definitely effective and resolved well, because it always seemed like if the players weren't able to reach an agreement, they just sent the disc back. But this one, it seems like it will be called a point. So a second break for Poland stands. They add another one to the scoreboard, making it 8 for them.
Yeah, 3 in a row. Haven't turned the disc over while doing so. Not a surprise if, you know, they feel like the mysterious momentum is right in their favour now. And actually, I think GB here might be taking the opportunity to call the timeout. And this I think, you know, given the head of steam that the Poles seem to be building up, it makes sense to me.
We have about 10 minutes left of game time. And once we finish that, I believe we will be adding 1 point to the higher score and then play to that. And it could really be anyone's game at this stage. So as you have a little bit of time, feel free to hit that subscribe button on the WFDF YouTube channel. And while you're at it, just open up another window, find Alti TV on YouTube, and hit that subscribe button as well. We will be screaming at the streamed games.
Yeah, certainly the crowd have been
EYUC.
here today. Yes, the games from the World Juniors Ultimate Championships, which are the under-20 divisions, live streamed here for you on the World Flying Disc Federation YouTube channel all week, whereas the EYUC European Youth Ultimate Championship, which are the under-17 games, will be streamed on Alti TV's YouTube channel. So as Rahel suggests, just give both of them a subscription now, and then you'll get notified whenever they go live throughout the week. And we're bringing you 5 games a day, all the way up until all the way up through Friday, and then Saturday. Well, there aren't 5 games, there's just the 3 finals left, and we will live stream all of those for you as well. And I am buzzing about the fact that we get to be here all week.
It will also, the subscription will also allow you to participate in our chats, which we love to see. All the encouragement, positive vibes for these junior players, putting themselves out there on the stream for your entertainment. showing you what can be done at this junior level, giving you a taste of what the future of Ultimate might look like. And once the work week hits and you're unable to secretly watch the games on YouTube, there is the website of the event, WJUC.sport, where you can follow the results as well as the Spirit results. But back to the action of the field, GB back on O.
And with there's a pick here that's going to bring a stoppage to proceedings. Yes, with the games being live streamed on YouTube, obviously you can watch them live, but they're also available free to watch on demand as well. So you can catch up on any of the action that you might have missed. This is going to be checked back in here. Hill just pops it off and wow. That time Morel was looking at the next pass downfield and the disc just went right through that little letterbox she'd made.
And here's Poland with a chance for a third break in a row.
Not to be. It was close. Poland nearly made it 4 in a row without turning it over, as they're so clinical with it in recent times. But that time, Great Britain's defense stands firm enough.
This time they set up in a regular vertical stack as opposed to their side stack look that they've been employing in the previous points.
Jones is the first option, gets the disc central, and both players down on the floor there. A little bit of a bump on the mark, and quickly uncontested there by Jasiewicz, the Spirit captain of this side. So not a surprise to see that got the hand signals down pat. So a little bit of discussion here, I think maybe working out exactly where everyone is. So with an accepted foul call, the stall should reset to 0. And so it would come in on 1. And the disc is now checked in by Jasiewicz. Hill looking wide. Again, trying to find that connection with Morel. Doesn't see it. Puts it out into space. Really tough catch coming back towards the disc there. Good pressure, but Jones was wary and that time can't connect with Morel. Again, the Poles pumping up the pressure.
They get the disc in their own in the second half of the field, and it's none other than Weber picking up the disc.
With that kinesio tape on her left knee.
That is a great grab by Łomnicka. Immediately swings the disc to Jasiewicz. Jasiewicz goes for the up line. And it seems like the disc was caught, but I think there will be a discussion to whether it was still in bounds or else if it was all the way into the end zone or not.
Yeah, struggling to see what the call is on the far side here. We've said that the hand signals have generally been very good, but just a little bit in the dark on this occasion.
In any case, Weber
well,
will not get the disc back, and the Polish are just shy of the end zone.
Yeah, it's Łomnicka.
High disc brought down beautifully by Jasiewicz.
Really ripped that one out of the sky.
She thinks about the break side, and she does take it. That's a nice wide backhand, and under pressure, here's the score for Poland. They add another break. That's a third one in a row. They go up 9-11, and this is turning into a much closer game than what it looked like at the start of the second half. Benji, wow.
It did feel like GB were running away with it a little bit. They had that head of steam going into the second half, and they continued it. But all of a sudden, Poland feel like they've just solved Great Britain's puzzle.
I think just what Poland needed was that one offensive point so that they can start focusing on D, because they've been getting that right consistently throughout the game on the match D. And GB relied very much on their zone for a long time, and then didn't have to focus as much on the offense because getting the turnovers just gave them so much energy and so much drive on that follow-up O, I would say. And they weren't worried about, you know, set plays and any of that. They just did the best they could to get the disc into the end zone. But now that they have to focus solely on scoring the point, I think that's kind of causing them a little bit of trouble.
Just seeing on the goal there, Weronika Grochowska, we mentioned that there's a she's along with one of the two Grochowskas on this team, along with Amelia. Both of them have a basketball background, so you know, using that ability to get high, box out, and post up.
Not surprisingly enough, the players have told us that among their hobbies is to hang out with their friends. Would you guess, Benji? Would you guess that they like to hang out with their friends, the teenagers?
I don't know what you're on about. I never had any friends when I was a teenager, so it's alien to me.
That's okay. If you do not have any friends, you can come chill out with us and become a commentator eventually.
Yes. We're a friendly bunch, mostly.
Very much. Very inclusive. And with less than 3 minutes left of game time, here's another pull from Poland. This time it's a huge ripper by Szczepanowska.
She's got a bit of a cannon when she wants to. Here's Hicks, trying to arrest the momentum. That's going to be a pick, so that will just bring a temporary halt.
The wind swirling here at the arena. Flags in the stands going the opposite direction. So again, very difficult for the throwers to actually decide what spin to put on the disc and which throw is actually viable in these conditions. Players making sure that both defense and offense are set after the call. Disc gets tapped back in.
Hicks goes to Barker. Barker has Hicks available again as that reset instead with the inside flick, overshot the first receiver. And that gave Poland a chance to steal through. Jasiak hits it to the turf. Pardus will pick up, looking to bring this game within one.
They go with a deep shot immediately to Jasiak. She's there, she's had 3 goals in this game already. Can she add another one? Patkowska centers the disc. Deep shot into the end zone, and that's a score by Krause. Poland on a 4-point strike. 4th break for Poland. They bring the game within 1, and they repay GB. They give them a taste of their own medicine. GB scoring 4 breaks in a row in the first half, and here's Poland copying them in the second one.
Szczepanowska there, throwing the assist. You could see that she was watching it, and she was, you know, very much hot on her sleeve there. Not afraid to, she was kind of following the path of that disc. You could almost feel the anguish on her face. But really well tracked down to the sideline. It's Krause with that ever distinctive hair making the catch. Poland pulled it back to within 1. Cap going to be going on very shortly. Poland could break here. We could be going into universe.
Let's really hope for that. We see the respective national contingents of the Polish and the British gathering closer to the sideline, wanting that first-hand experience, the stands being too far up. And this is not Quidditch after all, which has recently changed their name to
Quad ball.
Quad ball, that's right. At least the US Association did that. In any case, this is Ultimate Frisbee. These are the Junior Championship. The joint one, both Worlds and Europeans happening at the same time here at Pola Marszowe in Wrocław, Poland. And the showcase game, Great Britain versus Poland, is nearing its end. GB back on O.
You can hear the Polish contingent on the sideline, loudly chanting for defense. Getting it towards the break side there. High stall, oh, that dump side is cluttered and clustered. And Jasiewicz could bring us level if Poland can get this in.
Weber thought about the immediate deep shot, doesn't take it, but that one just out of reach. Great redemption for Burton, getting the disc back with a ghost D, but
Jasiewicz is down, not for the first time this game.
I think that layout might have been a bit too much for her. She's holding on to her chest. Hopefully only shaken as we see the medical staff approaching.
Yeah, potentially winded herself on the landing.
Seems like she will take a sub.
Yusevich has been huge for the Poles. She's only, on the stat sheet, she's registered a couple of assists, but you can tell that she's a huge part of this team, a part of their leadership.
We were talking about other teams in these divisions. We've talked about Poland. GB also has a U20 open team. And besides this U20 team, they have also the U17 open team. Oh, and the U17 women's team. There you go. So clearly the focus of the British in the separate divisions. GB back on O.
Swung into the centre of the pitch. Harvey wants to reset towards the far sideline. Burton's waiting. That one is Towers able to toe the sideline? I did not get a good perspective on it from this angle. Apparently not.
Immediately accepted. That was great display of spirit. We saw also some of her GB teammates signaling the out call. Great quick resolution. Love it. Made picks up for Poland.
Already 4 assists to her name.
Doesn't take the up line. Oh, and that was a difficult dump pass for Łomnicka, who kicks the disc, getting some extra meters for the British.
Maybe just put too much sriracha on the swing, perhaps? Coming underneath. Downfield, oh, this is going to be overthrown.
Can't believe the effort that the Polish defender got on that one. She falls to the ground, yet still tries to grab the disc that was flying past her. Weber picks up again. Big swing for Szczepanowska. Szczepanowska tries to get the big gainer to Łomnicka, but she only tips it. And Burton picks up, rips it. Just out of reach. The players know that this next point might actually decide this game. The time is over at this stage. We are past the 100-minute limit. So once we finish this point, we will be adding 1 to the higher score.
Yeah, floaty, and Hill read it well and slapped it to the floor. You can hear the excitement in our voices. This game is so tense. Here's Burton. Burton wants to rip it into the end zone. Oh, what a bid that comes flying through from Łomnicka.
I can't believe, did she get a hand on that? Doesn't matter. If she didn't, that was clearly goes D. I like the enthusiasm from Burton. She picks up immediately, and I can see the eagerness in her eyes to get that gainer. But unfortunately, yeah, GB unable to connect. And here is Poland with the first timeout in the second half. It hasn't paid much dividends in the first half for them. Let's see if it can make the difference right now.
So, you're as well as having, an extensive playing career at the top level, also a noted coach. What would you be saying in the 2 respective huddles right now?
Let's win!
I mean, are you giving, specific instructions, or is it all about energy and vibes?
Let me think. I was so invested in this game as a fan that I stopped paying attention as a coach. Well, I think Poland needs to keep doing whatever they're doing because it has been working in the past 4 points. They scored 4 breaks in a row. And for Britain, I think they just need to realize that they're still up. The time is over. They just need to keep scoring the points. So whatever has worked the best throughout the game, I think the side stack look wasn't bad. I think their handlers are able for some good reset work. So if they can keep doing that, basically, then that's all they need to do. I realize it's a difficult task because their O line has been broken 4 times in a row. So either pick something that has worked throughout the game or earlier in the game, let's say, or else maybe if you have one more strategy up the sleeve that could change things up and make them more easy on offense, then go for that.
We'll see what Poland choose to set up coming off this timeout. Looks like a vertical stack look to me. 5 players central. Got a dump positioned kind of parallel on that break slide, and we saw this earlier when Poland took the timeout. It gave Great Britain the opportunity to set up the zone, and they've done that here. Technically, Poland shouldn't be moving until the disc is set in, because the offense set's coming off the timeout and then the defense sets, and as the offense you can't move until it's checked in, and Poland actually getting back in position. Again, smart thinking, I think, here from the GB Brain Trust of forcing Poland to come out of that any set plays they might have had in mind.
100%, absolutely agree. Let's see if the Polish can remember the last time they were able to slice through that zone. They eventually figured it out, like we said, and here is an effort to put the disc through the first cup, but that disc goes to the ground. GB get the disc back.
Found the look they wanted, but they couldn't quite execute. Hill into the center of the pitch for Jones. So often that initiating cut. Jones has a wide open reset here. Force does really well to prevent that from going. Throw rises. Burton makes the catch regardless. Burton out wide, back into Jones's hands. Fakes the up line, swings instead to Hill. Hill might take this continuation towards the break side. That's Katja Chan. Chan into the center. All this is overthrown and gratefully gobbled up by Karolina Weber.
Weber puts the disc sideways to Made. They have the offensive handler set. Oh, and I think
Chan is down for Great Britain here.
she got stepped on by Oldakowska, I believe. So an injury call, medical staff immediately attending.
Not the first time this game that we've seen somebody go down injured, and it's always heartbreaking, especially when you're on the big stage.
We usually tend to see these type of collisions and injuries later towards the tournament as the players get tired and the fatigue sets in. But in this case, in the opening games, we can't use that excuse, I don't think. So we will go in the opposite direction of saying that the players are just very eager to make sharp, quick cuts, and sometimes one player is slightly behind on the intentions of the other player, and that can result in collisions such as this one. Yeah,
as well as we mentioned earlier, not necessarily going to be used to playing these full-length 100-minute games, and when it gets late into the contest, again, body perhaps not quite used necessarily to performing at this intensity for this period of time.
In any case, both teams putting a heroic effort into this last point. We saw some good use of the timeout, but from both teams basically. Poland knowing that they need this break, and GB setting up in that zone to get the disc almost immediately back. Here is Katja Chan walking off the field.
Yeah, to a warm round of applause. Jessica Barker is the injury replacement. It looks like Jasiewicz has come on for Poland as well. On an injury substitution, as well as the team with an injured player make a change, the opposition also allowed to make a substitution of their own, the idea being that you cannot gain an advantage from an injury.
Szczepanowska gets the disc to Łomnicka, who catches the disc under pressure right in front of the end zone, taps it back in, goes backwards to Weber, and Weber for the upline cut. That is Katarzyna Oldakowska for another break for Poland. We are tied at 11, Benji. What a game.
Well, if my calculations are correct, and I will get this double checked, I think that makes it 11-all, game to 12. We've got ourselves a universe point sudden death situation.
Absolutely thrilled to hear that, Benji. I will take your word for it because I know how terrible I am at figuring out this stuff. So I will just get excited for the universe point right now? Well, we just heard some screams from the Polish side, so I believe we're correct.
Yeah, getting various thumbs up from our cast and crew on the sideline here. So indeed, at one point, Great Britain here were 11-5 up. And Poland have brought it all the way back to 11-all, and it's now game to 12. God, I love Ultimate.
Exactly what you want for a championship opener. When you thought all the action was over with the end of WCC a week ago, you were mistaken. There are so many games to be played, starting with this one, Universe Point between Great Britain and Poland. Poland will start on defense once more. Wind is picking up, going in all sorts of direction, putting extra pressure on these players. Let's see who can seize the moment and get the momentum necessary to win the first game of this tournament.
Yeah, Chan, who we saw go off during that last point. See, it's got some ice on the right ankle on the sideline here, so for those of you just kind of wanting an update. So the pool lands just over half field, will roll slightly. Hill will pick up. And the crowd has really stepped it up a notch here. Looks like a shot towards the far sideline available. That's where they go to Barker. Barker back to Hicks. Hicks to Hill. There is the aggressive break option available. Hill wants to be a little bit more circumspect with it though. Still count rising into the centre of the pitch. Find Burton, who's been a really solid option for the Brits all game. Coming underneath. That time can't connect with Barker. Maybe I'll put the mockers on them.
First turnover of the Universe Point. Barker and Hill being just excellent for this GB offense, and they have been throughout this game, but here are the Polish facing the GB zone one more time.
The zone really has generated turnovers for Great Britain this game. Feels like the Poles have got a better handle on it now than they did earlier in the contest.
Made there for the Polish handling. Szczepanowska as well. They have been huge. They keep moving the disc side to side.
You can hear the Polska chants on the sidelines.
Big swings working so far. Szczepanowska centers again. They're working with a forehandler. Now, nice give and go. They stop it once more. Made.
Yeah, the Poles are calmness personified at the moment, really belying the occasion and the stage. But that time, maybe a hand in the way, but maybe there's a bit of a shoulder barge as well.
A foul called from the Polish side, down by the far sideline. There have been plenty of eyes to watch that. You make what you want of it on the replay. Do not let us know in the comments. Keep that for yourself. We do have plenty of perspectives from the sideline. The players will discuss it quickly and eventually come to a conclusion. So it seems like the Poles will keep the disc. Made, so far with 4 assists in this game, brings the disc back into play. Surrounded by the British defenders.
They're not afraid to get it right into the teeth of the defense. Oh, the scuba over the top doesn't come off.
That was a great look.
The first time we've seen it all game. What a time to pull it out.
I agree. You never know when you're going to make it on the stream again. You might as well put that up.
I think we might have a call here.
Here's the replay of that. One more.
It comes out fluttery and floaty.
I think Ołdakowska, if she's saying anything, she's saying that she might have had the disc before it got smacked out of her hand, but very little perspective from that angle. It was on the far sideline. It seems like the players will throw it back.
Yeah, agreeing to disagree in the end. Contested foul goes back to the thrower, which in this case was Yashevich. Oh, bobbled, but still retaining possession. Poland trying to dice through this defense at speed. Oh, the hammer!
Oh, and that is an overthrow. I think they were looking for Jaszak in the end zone. She was there kind of isolated. But I mean, why not? Why not?
Well, talk about winning it in style. That really would have done, but
exactly. You know what, Benji?
He helixed far too early.
But you know what, Benji? in 2 years from now at or 4 years from now, whenever the next WCC is, they're gonna get it right.
And this time, getting a little bit of motion to get the power position downfield. However, the cut timing isn't quite there. Finds a little inside channel to go through to Jones. This is Great Britain's second possession at this point. Jones with a rising stall count goes to Hill on the far sideline. Players from all of the Great Britain and Polish sides really lining the far side of the field. You can see them creating a wall.
That was a lovely step around from Hill.
Hicks with a nice high grab, puts it deep down the sideline on target to Hill as well. Hill's just outside the end zone, shoots and scores! Carmel Ellis sticks the catch, and Great Britain came so close to letting it slip. We're 11-5 up. Poland came all the way back and had the shot into the end zone to win it, but couldn't connect it. And then at the second time of asking, Great Britain just choosing, well, they're not going to die wondering, shooting it down the sideline before Hill squeaks it into Ellis, and Great Britain emerged 12-11 victors in the opening game here at the Joint Juniors Ultimate Championships. And what a game it was as well, Rachel.
The entire GB squad coming onto the field. Here's that last deep shot. Continued with what else than a nice upline cut for the score. Great Britain come out victorious of the first game of this tournament.
I love the look there, Hicks. Doesn't matter that it's Universe. You see the option you like, you go for it, and then it's good hustle here. Ellis tracking, thrown a couple of assists this game. What a time to get the first goal as well on Universe. And I mean, could not have asked for a better way to kick off this championship. For Poland, it's going to smart knowing that they came so close, but given the position they were in, given the fact they were 11-5 down, the fact that they took this to sudden death at all is a remarkable achievement, and they deserve a huge amount of credit for that.
Absolutely, both teams putting up a great fight. We saw 4 breaks in a row from GB in the first half, 5 breaks, no, 5? Yeah, that's right. 5 breaks in a row from Poland in the second one, making a huge last-minute comeback. And they gave us just what we wanted, some ultimate Universe point action to start us off in this tournament. I think both teams have lots to be proud of, great highlights. They will be very excited to re-watch all the streams here at the WFDF YouTube channel, as well as the Alta TV YouTube channel later during the week. Thank you everyone for engaging in the comments, all friends and family watching from home, all the people who are not involved with any of these players but yet still decide to watch Ultimate on demand or live here on YouTube. It's been lovely to have you. Thank you for the comments and the engagement. We hope you keep it up throughout the week.
Yeah, we've seen a few people asking for what our streaming schedule is for tomorrow, and the way it lines up for you. We have a couple of games that you get the chance to vote on throughout the week, but in the meantime, we're looking at the schedule for tomorrow. Start off in the Under-20 Open Division with New Zealand taking on Canada. Should be an exciting contest from two sides from very different parts of the world. Going to the Under-17 Open Division for Great Britain against Israel. Under-17 Women's for Germany. No, hang on a minute. I might have a different streaming schedule.
Yeah, so it seems like the second slot starting at 11 o'clock should be the U20 mixed teams, potentially having Switzerland and Israel. Please don't hate us if we make a mistake regarding the streaming schedule. It is subject to change based on conditions.
Everything's been a little bit up in the air, trying to get a good balance of teams and divisions across the tournament here.
In any case, at 1 o'clock we should have the U17 women's, Italy taking on Belgium, followed up at 3 o'clock by U17 mixed, Belgium against Austria. And then we're finishing off at 5 o'clock, and that is the game that you can vote on. It is the U17 Open Division. So please head to the Patreon AltiTV
It is
website.
patreon.com/AltiTV.
That's right. You can become a patron there, and then eventually get a chance to decide what games will be featured on the stream here in Wrocław.
And what a way to begin this week. As we mentioned, 5 games a day for you from here, Sunday all the way through till Friday, and then the 3 other finals that don't get played on the Friday on next Saturday the 13th. So plenty of Ultimate to come this week as a summer of bumper Ultimate continues here in Wrocław. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring you this opening game here and the opening ceremony as well. Your final score in the under-20 women's division is Great Britain 12, Poland 11. For Rachel Toshnarova, I am Benji Rees, and we'll see you on the other side for more from WJUC.
Alti.tv.